Imagine you keep hearing that energy prices are falling, wholesale prices are down, gas is cheaper, so naturally you expect your bill to follow, except sometimes it does the exact opposite. At the end of 2025, Ofgem said wholesale energy prices had fallen by 4% over the previous 3 months. But then it announced the energy price cap was going up, not by much, just 0.2%, but that's not really the point. If the thing your energy company buys is getting cheaper, how can the thing it sells to you become more expensive? Well, it's because your energy bill does not actually track today's gas price. And to understand why, we need to start several months before you even turn the heating on. Imagine you run an energy supplier. You know millions of customers will need gas next winter. You could wait until January, see what gas costs that morning and buy everything then. But if there is a cold snap, a supply problem, or some geopolitical shock, the price could explode, and suddenly you are selling energy to customers for less than it costs you to buy. So suppliers do something much less exciting. They buy much of their energy ahead of time. This is called hedging. Instead of gambling everything on tomorrow's price, they gradually lock in energy for future customers. That means when you read that gas prices have suddenly fallen, your supplier may already have bought much of the energy it expects you to use at earlier prices. Think of it like booking a flight. If you paid £300 for your ticket 3 months ago and the airline drops the price to £200 today, your ticket does not magically reprice itself. The same problem exists here. Today's wholesale price matters, just not necessarily for today's bill. Ofgem specifically says hedging creates a delay between moves in wholesale markets and what consumers eventually pay. Then there is the price cap. Despite the name, it is not a limit on your total annual bill. If you leave the heating on all day, you can still spend far more than the headline number. What Ofgem actually caps for customers on standard variable tariffs is the amount suppliers can charge per unit of energy, along with the standing charge. That cap is updated every 3 months, so wholesale prices can move every day while millions of household tariffs moves in quarterly steps. If gas crashes tomorrow, your capped rate does not immediately crash with it. But importantly, this works the other way too. If wholesale prices suddenly spike, your capped tariff does not instantly jump that afternoon either. The system smooths some of the volatility. The trade-off is delay. But there is another reason the headline gas price can mislead you. Take £100 of the current energy price and break it apart. Roughly £45 represents wholesale energy costs, about £25 pays for the networks that move gas and electricity around the country, around £16 covers operating debt and wider industry costs, and roughly £6 is policy costs. Then there are VAT and several smaller allowances. So falling wholesale prices only push down one part of your bill. The others can move independently. That is exactly what happened going into January 2026. Wholesale prices had fallen 4%, but government policy costs and operating costs increased, including costs associated with warm home discount and Sizewell C, and those increases were enough for the overall cap to edge higher. So the contradiction is real. The raw energy can become cheaper while the complete service of delivering it to your house becomes more expensive. There is also one more strange part. Even if your home barely uses gas prices can still affect your electricity bill. Britain now gets a large amount of electricity from wind and other renewables, but electricity has to be generated exactly when people need it. Cheaper generators tend to be used first. If demand is high enough that a more expensive gas-fired power station is still needed, that gas plant can become the generator that effectively sets the wholesale electricity price. And Ofgem says gas currently sets Britain's wholesale electricity price a large majority of the time. So gas prices can feed through twice, directly into the cost of supplying gas to your home and indirectly through the cost of generating electricity. Again though, neither moves perfectly alongside the gas price you see in today's headlines. So, at this point you might reasonably think, fine, but if gas becomes cheaper and my bill stays high, is the supplier just keeping the difference? Not automatically. If the supplier already bought energy ahead at a higher price, a falling spot market does not cancel those contracts, and the price cap itself includes allowances for all the other costs involved in serving customers. There is a supplier earnings allowance too, but in the current cap, Ofgem's EBIT allowance represents about 2.6% of the total. And that is a regulatory allowance, not a guarantee of the profit a supplier actually makes. So there is not one hidden pot of money explaining the difference. There are several different prices and costs moving around different timelines. So when gas prices fall, your bill can fall too. It just does not have to happen immediately or even in the same direction. Because between the wholesale market and your bank account sit months of supplier hedging, a price cap that resets every 3 months, network charges, policy costs, operating costs, an electricity market where gas can affect the price of power as well. That is why looking at a falling gas price chart and expecting your bill to mirror it can give you completely the wrong idea. So it is probably better just to focus on being able to pay your bill instead of worrying about where it may go in the next few months. And there is a useful lesson here that goes well beyond energy. Whenever you see the price of a raw material falling, but the final product you buy stays expensive, ask these 3 questions. When was the input actually bought? When does the price you pay reset? And how much of the final price does the input actually represent? Because the price you see in a market today and the price that eventually reaches you are often 2 very different things.